We come from and live on land considered sacred by indigenous people known as Bannock, Paiute, Shoshone, and many other tribes that lived here sustainably for thousands of years. We strive to understand and reframe our responsibilities to land, to community. In the spirit of respectful reciprocity, we honor the original caretakers of this place. We affirm the relationships we have to each other, including our relations to animals and insects that inhabit the water, land, and sky. We recognize the relationship, the responsibility to quiet creeks, rushing rivers, rustling grasses, to sprawling forests, to the brilliant palettes of the sky, to the roots that grip the soil, to the earth beneath our feet. Water is life. To all of us affected by the boarding school revelations, may we be granted compassionate understanding. May we find healing in the harm that lives in our history. We honor and support the right to sovereignty for our indigenous neighbors. We acknowledge that a land acknowledgement is not enough. Now, let us breathe together. Let us take a moment to enjoy the delicious air, the oxygen provided by tree. Hold to the warm light of sun. Consider the solidity, the groundedness of earth. Flow with refreshing, life-giving water. Let the mud settle. Find clarity of mind and spirit. Welcome our ancestors. Enjoy this present moment together.
Good morning. Welcome to the Boise Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, a community gathered to nurture spiritual growth, real connection, and faithful action for a better world. My name is Timothy Ellis, and I am your intern minister here. All who join us in the spirit of curiosity, love, and justice are welcome this morning. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, your presence is a blessing. Whether you are here every Sunday, once or twice a year, or here this morning for the very first time, we are glad that you're here. Welcome to those of us joining virtually. If we all want to turn around and give a wave. We are so glad that you are here with us as our community extends beyond these walls and we can all worship together. We know it takes a lot of courage to cross the threshold and enter into a new community, either in person or virtually. So to our newcomers, we're especially glad that you have joined us today. We invite you to introduce yourselves after the service or in the chat, and fill out a newcomer card so that we can keep you connected with everything happening in our fellowship. We do have a few announcements this morning. There is an auction quilt raffle coming that is happening right now, actually. The quilt is by our Booth Quilters. It is in the hospitality room, the coffee area, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It is incredible. And tickets are on sale now after the service. And also the drawing for it will be this Saturday at the auction celebration event this Saturday evening. And speaking of the auction, we have another announcement.
Good morning. My name is Sue Philly. I'm waiting for some of the other auction team members to show up, and I'd like to know how many of you have already registered. Raise your hand. How many of you have already bid? Raise your hand. All of the rest of you were eager to see you online and to see you participating in the auction. We have raised almost $8,000 since Friday for our $20,000 goal. And we've also raised about $5,000 for our $15,000 goal for the special appeal. We realized belatedly that some of you parents with children and some of you newcomers may not be aware that there's a whole section of the auction devoted to things for you. Very fun activities for children, outings, tickets, and the price is right. So please log on and see what's going on there. And if you saw that special appeal video that came, it said video. Okay, it is so cute. It has our children who are speaking, none of us boring adults. I mean, it is really special. So go to the video and check it out. You'll be really tickled to see what has Jim Bigelow and the social justice team have done with that. And of course, we have art surrounding us here, and in the hospitality room, there are little tags if it's for sale at the auction. The numbers are the auction numbers. And so you can bid online for any of the art that you enjoy. And the QR seats in your seats, someone pointed out this morning that people my age still haven't figured out how to use them. So turn to someone under 15 and they'll show you how to do it. And so you can access the auction, the special appeal, and you can register for our dinner, potluck dinner. That is limited to 80 people, and it's filling up pretty fast, so we don't want to turn you away at the door. Please do that. And bid, bid, bid. Okay?
Beautiful birds I can feed with my ear. Oh my gosh, Lila, look at this colorful dollhouse. Should we bid on it?
I'm worried I won't be able to log in online and I won't win anything.
Don't.
What should we do?
Oh my, don't worry, calm down. This is gonna be okay. It's gonna be our best auction ever.
But since you're all feeling so stressed, let's sing our auction song.
But before, remember,
Announcement.
yes, we have our party, our celebration party next Saturday. Please register.
So let's sing our song.
I've been working on the auction all the livelong day. Had to keep it secret side when my husband's run away. Come and buy a movie artwork. Get samples for all your best. Rent a cabin for your big day.
Thank you. As always, our fellowship donates 25% of our unpledged plate offering to support a local organization whose mission aligns with our social justice ministries. For the month of February, it is the Shoshone-Paiute tribes of the Duck Valley Indian Reservation. There are many ways you can make a financial gift: online on our website using the Venko app, or in person using our drop boxes. However you choose to give, you nurture our community, and we are grateful. Our spiritual theme for the month is the path of love. And in today's service, we'll explore some of the vulnerability that it takes to open ourselves up to connection with each other. Yes.
As we enter this time of worship, let us take a moment to breathe. Fill your body with breath, knowing that our breath connects us to one another, to our bodies, and to our planet. Our breath offers us the opportunity for stillness, to tune into our spiritual center and to listen deeply to our heart's own longing. Thou art the song of my heart in the morning. Thou art the dawn of truth in my soul. Thou art the dew of the roses adorning. Thou art the woven whole. Thine is the grace to be steadfast in danger. Thine is the peace that none can destroy. Thine is the face of the need-driven stranger. Thine are the wings of joy. Thou art the deep to the deep in me calling. Thou art a lamp where my feet shall tread. Thy way is steep, past the peril of falling. Thou art my daily bread. Thine be the praise of my spirit uplifted. Thou art the sea of each flowing stream. Thine be the days that are gathered and sifted. Thou art the deathless stream.
Good morning. I should have done this right before that, but I wanted to introduce and welcome our guest musician. This is Michael Mandrell, and yeah. And for those of you who have been around a long time, Michael's played here, at least 2 or 3 times before, but it has been a while with the pandemic. So we're glad to have him back. And just to let you know, he's got a little table in the back of the hall if you feel so inclined to go talk to Michael after the service. And he also has a few CDs for sale. So again, welcome, Michael.
At this hour, in small towns and big cities, in living rooms and in ornate sanctuaries, many of our assembling Unitarian Universalists are also lighting the flaming chalice, reminding us that we are part of a great community of faith. Today, we have a young chalice lighter, C.C. Pyle. We invite a child to light the chalice and to recognize that children and youth in our community are a responsibility to them and the future that we're building together. As we light the chalice here in the sanctuary for our virtual community, if you have a chalice nearby, you're invited to light it with us this morning. Then share in the chat where your chalice is this morning.
Thank you, Cece. This is Cece Pyle. She is the child of Nate and Shelley and the youngest, littlest sibling to Desmond and Mac. And she loves reading. Talk to her about reading. She right now is reading Miss Daisy is Crazy, if you'd like to hear more about that. All right, thank you, Cece.
With our collective chalices lit in our spaces, we offer you this call to worship from Reverend Gretchen Haley. Know only that you are loved. For this one moment, know only that you are loved, that you are safe and whole and loved. Know that you belong here, here among us, here upon the earth, in your body. However tired or broken your heart may be, whatever fear, disappointment, anger you carry. For this hour, know that you are not alone. Feel the presence of others surrounding you, breathing beside you and with you. Discovering together that the way of our voices rise and fall together in harmony, in hope. Claim here a resilient freedom, the choice for love, for light, to live with joy, and gratitude and praise as a form of resistance. Already we are organizing. Come, let us worship together. As we move into our time of all ages, I'd like to invite the children in the room to come up and join us and watch Jem share today's story on video.
I Love You Because I Love You by Monk T. Van and illustrator Jessica Love. I love you because you're you. And I love you because you're here. Because I love you, I am here. I love you because you carry me. Because I love you, I am strong. I love you because you play with me. Because I love you, the world becomes our playground. I love you because you see what others miss. Because I love you, I see more than before. I love you because you let me speak. Because I love you, love blooms where our voices meet. I love you because you cook with care. Because I love you, food tastes better when shared. I love you because you let me make mistakes. Because I love you, no mistake is ever too great. I love you because you know when I'm sad. Because I love you, I share the good with the bad. I love you because you're brave when I'm afraid. Because I love you, I am braver every day. I love you because you wait for me. Because I love you, you are never too late. I love you because you tell the best stories. Because I love you, my best story is you. I love you because we go together. Because I love you, we change and grow together. I love you because I love you.
This morning, our children and youth are exploring all the ways that love challenges us to show up and be tender. Youth, I'll start with youth. Youth grades 6th through 12th, you are invited to go that way to your classrooms. Children 5 years to 5th grade, join me this way. All right, thank you.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace.
Where We Belong, a duet by Maya Angelou. In every town and village, in every city square, in crowded places, I searched for faces, hoping to find someone to care. I read mysterious meanings in the distant stars when I went to schoolrooms and pool rooms and half-lighted cocktail bars. Braving dangers, going with strangers, I don't even remember their names. I was quick and breezy and always easy, playing romantic games. I wined and dined 1,000 exotic Janes and Jones in dusty dance halls and debutante balls. On lonely country lanes, I fell in love forever, every year or so. I wooed them sweetly, was theirs completely, but they always let me go, saying, bye now, no need to try now, you don't have proper charms. Too sentimental and much too gentle, I don't tremble in your arms. Then you rose into my life like a promised sunrise, brighten my days with light in your eyes. I've never been so strong. Now I'm where I belong.
Thank you. Each week, we take time to acknowledge the many joys among us and to grieve our many sorrows and losses, so that we might lift the burden for each other and receive the blessing of this community. A reminder that you can submit your joys and sorrows online each week via the link in our worship email and on our website. Our virtual community continues to share joys and sorrows in the chat. We combine our collective joys and sorrows every month and share them in a community-wide email. It's through this sharing with one another that we forge deeper bonds of community and connection. As we begin, please hold Diane Schwabe's daughter-in-law, Heather, who is home from Mayo with a healthy new liver. She's doing well and will continue to recover here at home with the help of family and friends. The family is grateful for cards and kind wishes. From Miriam Wuito, Zella Bardsley, the artist who created our chalice and the Walk Through Time arch, is very ill. Please send prayers and loving energy to her. And also on this morning, for our Jewish community in particular, facing fear by hate and the overwhelmingness of anti-Semitism in our country. If you're holding someone in your heart this morning, I invite you to speak their name aloud into this community of love that we may hold them with you. May the arms of this community hold all our joys and sorrows, those named and those that remain silent, close to our hearts. May we feel the grace that surrounds us and be transformed by the spirit of life and love, with warmth to celebrate our joys and with gentleness to soothe our aching hearts. Breathe with me. Fill your body with breath. Breathe into this sacred space. Breathe with this beloved community filled with loving kindness. Breathe with wholeheartedness. Listen to what is calling you in the silence. Thank you. That was beautiful. So 3 days before leaving Boston to move out here to Boise, I got a concussion. We were storing some furniture with my in-laws, and after the last load was put away, we stashed 3 loads, it was fine. I was ready to head back out to the car. I hit my head on the door frame. This is a hazard of being tall. It luckily was a very mild concussion, and while I didn't have to lie quietly in a dark room for a week, thank God, for the next several days, the recommendation was limited thought, limited movement, and limited screens. Yeah, we're in the last couple days of packing, and I can't lift a box, much less a bookcase, think through a plan, or look anything up. I hated it. I'm a person who has the privilege to usually feel like I can depend on my body to pull through and bring in that last load of groceries after a long day, or plan out and execute the intricacies of packing a car with as much stuff as possible. Now, most of that was off limits, and the primary way that I could contribute was to tape boxes. I needed help, and it felt overwhelming and discouraging to even try to figure out what to do or who to ask. And in that moment, I felt profoundly grateful to have a partner who is an expert in gathering and organizing people. Shia called in more reinforcements, and I was blown away by the number of people who showed up to help us. But it still felt hard. Even though these were people that I loved, that I'd known for nearly 10 years, it felt hard to acknowledge that I needed that help and to accept it. Even though this was an injury that, of the ways we classify needing of help, is very reinforced and said like, oh yeah, that's something you need help for, as opposed to chronic illnesses. But even though it felt like there was all the justification in the world, like of course this makes a lot of sense, and folks were showing up with their generosity and their willingness and their care, it felt hard. This is some of the vulnerability that comes with loving and being loved. There can be terror in opening ourselves up to risk, to have a need, to be rejected. And there can be worry about, will someone ask too much of me? Will I actually be able to show up in the way that they need? Yet there's something deeply sacred in opening ourselves up to ask for care and attention. There's something deeply sacred in receiving this care and attention, and in noticing and giving care and attention to others. I sometimes describe religious community as a place where we get to practice being human with each other. That this is the community where we come and we try and we think deeply and think about how we want to be in the world. We go out for a week, we try, we mess up, and we come back. Because being human takes practice. This is some of the most everyday and some of the most difficult practicing. To show vulnerability, to notice others' vulnerability, and to give and receive love. And yet this is what keeps us connected. It's what keeps us feeling seen and cared about, knowing that we have worth and goodness and that we matter in the world. It happens on the big levels of helping somebody move, but also on the everyday levels of noticing the tiny moments of reaching out or asking for connection or attention. The best way I've seen this described is as bids for attention or bids of connection. The name for the idea, at least, comes from the doctors Julie and John Gottman, who study relationship therapy and what keeps people in relationships for the long run. Excuse me. A bid for attention is any time you give a signal to another person that you'd like to have some attention and connection. It happens in really explicit ways, maybe saying, I had a really hard day and I would like to tell you about it. And it happens in the small ways. A comment about what you might have for dinner, a small laugh when you're reading something and kind of want to share it, maybe. Or even just a small sigh can be one of the ways that we signal to each other, hey, I would like some attention right now. I would like you to check in. This is the everyday level, the building blocks of relationships, where we show to another person that they matter, that we recognize their humanity, their dignity, and spark of worthiness. Our story this morning showed that. I love you because I love you. I love you because I show up to play with you. I love you because I love the way that you see the world. Taking the time to notice and see the world. And it happens in all of our relationships. This isn't just intimate or partnered relationships, friendships, coworkers, the checkout person at the grocery store that's feeling really chatty today are all bids for connection, for attention. When we make a bid for connection, it invites relationship and gives the other person the opportunity to answer us and meet our need for attention. And when we answer someone's bid, it gives moment for us, for connection for us as well, to deepen that relationship. The idea of helping someone makes you feel better too. And of course, not every bid gets answered. We don't have the time or energy to notice and answer every bid that gets made to us. But the point is that most of them are noticed and responded to. That overall, the people in our lives know that we care about them, including if it's something as small as what they want for dinner. And that we have our bids met too. That we feel cared about. That our humanity and sacredness are affirmed by those around us. Earlier this month, Reverend Sarah introduced a set of UU values that grew from an effort to reimagine our UU principles. You might have heard this referred to as the Article 2 Commission. It's a UUA bylaws piece, but it's also a reimagining of how we talk about who we are and trying to find words and language and action that help us deepen our spirituality and also share what our true commitments are, especially our commitment to anti-racism. These new values are meant to help us deepen both our conversations, but also our practice. Each one of them, there are 6, and they all surround the core idea of love, but each one of them comes with a covenant too. This morning, we're going to talk about interdependence and transformation. Our human need for attention and connection, and our drive to recognize and respond to others' needs are core to these UU values of interdependence and transformation. As a part of our value of interdependence, a piece of the covenant there is that we covenant to cherish all beings by creating and nurturing relationships of care and respect. I'll repeat, for interdependence, just a piece of it. We covenant to cherish all beings by creating and nurturing relationships of care and respect. We are called to show up for each other, to recognize that spark, that divinity, that worthiness, whatever you want to call it, within each person, And also, importantly, that spark within ourselves. It's okay to need to hold on to that spark, to need to cherish it, to give your own spark attention, and to ask for attention from others. And that can be really hard. Loneliness is overwhelming these days for so many people. Post-pandemic, building relationships, transitions, but also loneliness is always overwhelming in our society at this point. It can feel extra vulnerable to make a bid for connection, to do that reaching out, those tiny, hey, I might like to connect a little bit more moments, especially if you don't believe that that bid for connection will actually be answered. It is really hard. And I don't quite have an answer to the hard, but I want to make some space for that. And some of what we do is trying to notice and answer other people's bids for connection as well. Personally, I have found a lot of joy and connection in talking to the Lyft drivers and the grocery store checkout people, and remembering my grandmother's art of the elevator conversation. That even though I'm new to Boise and still building a community, having those intentional conversations, even if they're about the weather, with the people, the smaller relationships in our lives, is one way to foster that building, that growing, that connection. And our other UU value that we're talking about today is the value of transformation. This value means that we as a denomination and a people are willing to change and grow. It's part of the idea of a living tradition, that we don't know what the future is, that we always grow more personally and together with more searching, more time, more reflecting. But it also means that we as individuals grow and change when we're in relationship with each other. The practice of asking for what we need and showing up for others and helping to fill what they need, it changes us. It allows us, asking what we need allows us to be more in tune with ourselves, to identify and ask for what we need in a harder situation a little more quickly, a little easier. And the practice of noticing others, looking for their needs, brings us closer in community too, especially when we might feel like we don't have our own. When we can open up to the vulnerability that love requires, to notice our own need, and to ask of others, and to notice others, we can find that sacredness in connection together. Our closing reading this morning comes from Sarah Moore's Campbell. We receive fragments of holiness, glimpses of eternity, brief moments of insight. Let us gather them up for the precious gifts that they are, and renewed by their grace, move boldly into the unknown.
Well, thank you so much for having me come play for your congregation this morning. It is so good to be back in Boise and here in this room. I live in Taos, New Mexico. I'm on my way to Portland, Oregon, so I pass by here often. hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Friends, I invite you to place your hands over your hearts for our closing blessing. May we honor and nurture the spark of our own need for attention and connection. May we notice and respond to the bids from others. And may we build community together that can love us because they love us, just as we are. We extinguish the flame of our chalice, but not our hope for the future, our courage in the face of crisis, or the love we share in all the world. Blessed are we all. Go in peace.